Hello, my name is Leo and welcome to another reading of the Elder Scrolls. Today we'll be reading King Edward Part 3, the third book in the ever-long King Edward book series. Let us begin. Chapter 3, Lessons. The golden days passed swiftly. Edward spent most of his time in the company of his parents. He saw few other children. None at all lived in their tree. Only their wood elf host and Merlin's 6 companions. An oddly assorted, cheerful lot. Disrespectful, Edward thought. None of the Daggerfall court or servants would dare have addressed his father as these did Merlin and Alara, with their constant okay, I'll look it up. Raillery. Okay, which is cheerful banter. Sure, whatever. But these weren't servants or courtiers, just companions. Only one was a dark elf. There were... Oh god, word rapid, yeah I know. There were a Khajiit woman? You mean there was? There's many people, so... I'm not sure how the grammar works there. There were a Khajiit woman, 2 wood elves, brother and sister, a Nordic man even bigger than Merlin, and a strange-looking lizard-like man who spoke with such a hissing accent that Edward couldn't understand him at all. The Nord man was called Slave of Merlin, or just Slave for short, though Merlin usually called him Mats, or my slave. Mats tended the group's weapons and gathered wood for the evening fires, but it wasn't unusual for the others to bring wood. Keep going. Sorry. Merlin himself often borrowed Mats's axe and fetched and split wood if there was need, or if he just felt like it. They spent much of their time roaming the woods and fields, hunting and gathering produce, in 2s and 3s. Usually Merlin and Aaron, Edward and Shade. Who's Shade? Went off together. They carried bows for hunting. When Edward asked Merlin to teach him to shoot better, he was told to ask his mother, as she was the better shot. And it was Alara's arrow that brought down a handsome buck. Although both arrows had struck, and they quarreled over whose arrow had killed as they ran towards the buck. Bah! Merlin exclaimed as he pulled his black fetched arrow from the hindquarters. I don't know how I managed to feed myself before I married you. You had the companions. Aye, Mats, Myth, and I starved together before we met Beech and Willow. We've got weird names. Merlin pulled out his black dagger, Tooth, and began to skin the animal's body, calling Edward to come and watch. You want to learn about animals, don't you? Live ones? Edward said with distaste. His dainty mother was ripping the skin away with enthusiasm. Such make tough eating. The dark... Oh, live animals, you mean. Such make tough eating, the dark elf said. Give me your cloak. I'll make a package for you to carry. I am a prince, not a pack horse. You'll carry your share or you'll be a hungry prince this night. I won't, I don't want any, you can't make me. Merlin stood erect and appeared to think this over. Can't I? He taunted. Edward, please. Alara appealed to him. Tell me, Lord Prince, how then does one get to meet... How then does one get the meat to one's table if one may not carry it? If princes may not carry meat, then certainly kings and queens may not. Or do princes grow out of the incapacity when they become kings? They have servants. Serve ants? What a clever idea! Only a human could think of that. Ants are excellent at carrying, I have noted. Although I have not the trick of commanding them, perhaps you can teach me. Servants! Like Mats here, Edward shouted. He hated being teased. Mats and the other companions had come up, having heard shouts over the kill. Mats? You think I cannot make you carry deer meat? Yet I could command Mats to do so? Merlin stared up at the blonde giant. Well, one never knows until one tries. Mats, carry the deer. The blonde scratched his head and jaw thoughtfully. Highness, nothing would please me more, but it is a large deer, and my old wound is troubling my back. Perhaps if you kill a smaller one? Well, Prince, what now? You beat him! And what? I can't outrun him. Mats, if I reach that oak first, will you carry the deer? Mats shook his head slowly. You beat him with a stick! Edward yelled. What promise you show as a healer, my prince? You will forgive me if I refrain from consulting you until you have further training. It is my judgment that beating with a stick will not improve Mats's back. Of course, I may be in error. Silk, you carry the deer. Me, my lord? I am sorry, but I have just remembered that I am fourth cousin to the fifth house of Debella, Queen of Heaven. My dignity forbids that I carry anything at all. Willow and Beach claimed that a mage had forgiven... Oh, damn it. Hold on. Willow and Beach claimed that a mage had forbidden them, either of them, to carry any part of an animal while the moon of Dawn was risen. Prince, you are truly certain about this rule? It seems to make life most inconvenient. What could bring the wood to the deer? Don't know what that means. Which will take many hours and leave us blighted here. Just keep reading. We could consume the meat raw on the spot, but I own my belly. I own my belly? Oh, okay, I got it. God, I don't like this wording. I own my belly is not yet empty enough to make that option attractive. Alaria, can you help us? How do the High Rock folk get meat to table? My lord, when I lived there, it was my firm belief that it appeared by magic. There were servants, but they were an irritating, lazy lot. More trouble than they were worth. Edward, my son, is it possible that this rule applies only in High Rock? I suppose so. Edward carried a share of meat that bent his back. But he did not complain, and so it was settled, and the meat that night was a merry one. The meal that night was a merry one. But for several days after, if the companions caught him carrying anything at all, they would inquire anxiously as to whether a High Rock prince might do so. Is everyone just straight out taking the piss out of Edward? Poor guy. He doesn't know any better, he's a fucking sheltered prince. True. Wait, where were we? If Mats is not a servant, then why do they call him Morriland's slave? Edward asked one drowsy afternoon. Well, he is my slave. I paid gold for him. All that Mirth and I had. We came to a man beating him near Reich Parkeep. He looked near death. When Mirth and I tried to stop the beating, the man said Mats was a runaway slave, and he'd do as he liked with him. So I threw down the gold and told him he could take it and leave, else I would kill him out of hand. He chose the latter. So I told Mats to take the gold to his master's heir and go where he would. He chose to come with us. So we buried the gold with the master. Wow, so they killed the master? And Mats has been with us ever since. Could he leave if he wanted to? Of course. May I go pick up some of those berries over there? Edward asked, and Marilyn nodded. Ilaria was sleeping, curled on her side. Marilyn sat next to her, leaning back against a tree, his hand playing with her long, dark curls. His eyes and skin were sensitive to the bright sun. Shade slept, stretched. Oh, Shade is the guy. Well, actually, I don't know if it's a guy or a girl. But in any case, Shade slept stretched in a sun nearby. That's kind of that's a bit of a tongue twister. What? Shade slept stretched. Yes, true. Anyway, where the fuck? His dark fur glinting with silver in the light. Okay, so Shade's the Khajiit, I guess, because he's got fur. Unless he's a bear. Unless he's a wereball like me. Where are we? Edward. Right. Edward wandered over to the bushes and picked the bright glowberries. So called because they glowed at night. Wow, an inventive name. Although right now they were a rather dull grey, but they tasted very good. If he ate enough, would he glow at night? He wondered. Or if he smashed them and collected the juice, the bushes caught at him, and he found a sort of tunnel through them and trotted along it, wondering where it led. Did we just smash cut between two sentences here? Because he wondered if he would glow, or if he smashed the juice. Oh, there's an ellipsis. Right. Okay, gotcha. I've tried to skip past the ellipsis. Anyway, maybe. It ended in a small clearing before a pile of rocks. There was a hole and something in it. Edward stepped back, making a small noise in his throat. The something heaved and presented a tusky, snarling face and hooves that pawed at the earth. The boy backed away slowly. The beast's head went down. The shoulders heaved, and the immense bulk lumbered into a charge. Damn it, I keep losing my fucking place because it's damn word wrapping. How far is this book are we? We're far enough. Where were we? The beast's head went down, the shoulders heaved, and the immense bulk lumbered into a charge. Edward tried to throw himself into the bushes. There was no room. And then, incredibly, Morriland was in front of him, between him and the beast. There was a flash and a crash, and the elf seemed to leap backwards for several feet, landing crouched just in front of Edward's face. The air whistled as his blade seemed to jump out of the sheath on its own accord. There was a sparkle in the air around him, and a burnt smell. Silence. Get out of there, boy, now! Edward fled, yelling for his mother, who was running towards the bush and calling him. She clasped him to her and began shouting for Merlin instead. There was no answer. Then, somehow the elf was there, unharmed, his blade sheathed again, but he was breathing hard. Did you kill it? Are you hurt? No and no. I was shielded, barely. You disturbed a sow in her den with her litter. Fortunately, she thought she'd had enough after the first impact. I dare say she's unaccustomed to finding her enemies still standing afterwards. Why didn't you kill her? Edward demanded, feeling bloodthirsty after his flight. A katana, even the ebony blade, is not the weapon I'd choose against a mother sow. A spear, maybe. The longer the better. Besides, if we leave her be, there'll be 6 pigs next. If we leave her be, there'll be 6 pigs here next year, with luck. You made a magic shield, Edward said, wide eyes. Hey, he mentioned the ebony blade. Is he the original owner of the ebony blade? Maybe. Because he does have he did say he's got, whatever he's got an ebony katana. Well, yeah, he's got ebony, it's ebony, yeah. But is it the ebony blade? That's the real question. Who knows? But moving on. Ah, barring the shield, she'd have left a few marks, even on a tough old elf. Edward, it would be gracious to thank your rescuer, his mother prompted. Thank you, Edward said automatically, his mind busy with more questions. How had the elf known of his danger? How did he get there so quickly? There is scarcely need to thank me for saving my son's life. Thank Shade, Merlin said. The cat told me there was trouble. Edward knelt and hugged the smug purring cat. Good old Shade, I can always count on him. My son. Our son. The words rang proudly out at the least excuse. Edward puzzled over this for a while. Oh shit. Oh shit. Whoops. I forgot to change the page twice. Sorry about that. Where were we? Edward puzzled over this for a while. It wanted an excuse. It wanted? What? What? Damn it, I lost my place. It wanted an explanation. The one he favoured was that Merlin simply did not know him very well yet, and was prone to give the benefit of the doubt to strangers. Eventually, but in the meantime, you might as well enjoy it. It was nice. Having a father that was proud of you, that liked being with you, took you to places, talked to you, listened to you, and most remarkably of all, let you alone when you needed to be. Merlin only really liked being alone when he was composing a ballad. Edward told Beech and Willow about the mother pig. I ran when he told me to. Would you? Because he said to? I couldn't think of any way to help, but... Willow and Beech listened carefully, exchanged glances, and said they'd think about the problem. After supper... where are we? After supper, around the evening fire, Willow took up her small harp and began to sing about the joys of an autumn afternoon and berries. Except that Merlin sent the boy off to pick berries. They'd got that part wrong. Merlin sat up sharply and looked around, but the others had slipped away into the darkness, and Willow wasn't looking at him. Myth strolled into the firelight. taking mincing steps. Mincing steps? Yeah. Picking pantomime berries and eating them noisily. Moreland put his head down and groaned. Myth pantomimed finding something, lurched into the firelight. Mirth reached a hand to pet him, then leapt back with a squeal as Mats tried to rip him with a tusk. Huge tusks and a pig nose adorned his face. Myth crouched, hands to his face in exaggerated horror. And Silk, clad in black. And Silk. You can do this. And Silk. Damn it, where is it? Okay. You got it? I think I got it. Where am I? Alright. And Silk, clad in black, leapt between Myth and Mats with a shower of sparks, jerking backwards, hose about his knees, shoeless. He reached for his sword, but Mats charged and knocked it flying. It spun out of sight. Mats, scrambling on all floors, missed Mirth, but tore his hose. Mirth scampered around the fire with Mats after him. Silk, sword in one hand, the other tugging at the hose, chased after Mats, beating him with the sword. Another figure appeared, clad in Alaria's blue gown, with Beach's head sticking out above, wearing a long dark wig. Mirth cowered behind her skirts. She glared at Mats and he froze. Silk tripped and sprawled behind him. Beach tossed his hair back, patted Mirth reassuringly on the head, wet one finger, and smoothed an eyebrow. Then leisurely picked up his bow, aimed, and twanged. Mats leaped backwards, collapsing on top of Silk, with a very realistic death rattle. Beach and Mirth embraced, ignoring Silk, still flat beneath Mats. Moylan had begun laughing when Silk first leapt out. Alaria had waited for Beach's appearance. Now tears were running down her cheeks. Moylan was doubled over, pounding his fist against a tree. Ripples and giggles of silvery laughter sounded all around, and showers... Oh, damn it. And showers... Where were we? Silvery laughter sounded all around, and showers of gold coins fell into the circle. The companions gathered themselves together and bowed, as humans did. Again! Do it again! No! Moreland gasped, still laughing. Ah! You came nearer killing me than the sow did. I beg mercy. Another night, gentle persons. Our king has had a very long day. We thank you all. Gods had the entire town seen? Edward stared behind him, but they were all melting away into the dark. That's not what happened, he yelled. You were a hero. They made fun of you. Yes, and yes. Especially the last. By Geoffrey himself, that was funny. God, are we almost done? We are, thank God. They all saw that, and you're gonna let them do it again? Edward was scandalized. They had all looked ridiculous. Let them? It'd be done all over Tamriel for centuries to come, I doubt not. But never again so well. But it didn't happen like that at all. It would have if the sow, had charged again. Arya's bow would have been far more effective than my poor blade. and she'd have seen Merlin leap like a Khajiit. His finger smoothed an eyebrow in a gesture typical of Valeria, and he went off again on a long laugh. Aye, she'd have slain the beast. Keep going. Sorry. She'd have slain the beast. With a look, if she couldn't find an arrow. Mats, you are more like the sow than she like herself. Bigger too, I swear. Myth, you old rogue. Only you could look so innocent. But it's not true, Edward persisted. Boy, you think there's only one truth? Was what you saw today truth? Did you see all the truth? Even of what did happen, what you saw here tonight will light up truths unseen, if you allow it. You could spend a lifetime reflecting on it, and yet not see it whole, for it goes ever further and deeper, spreading like ripples in a pool, beyond us all, and out into... and out into what? Into what happens? And out into the deep stillness of forever. Oh, there was something missing. What happens is only a tiny part of truth. Maybe the least part. Maybe the least part? And what you see is smaller yet. Edward still thought that a king really ought to have more dignity, but he didn't say so. Whew. And that was King Edward Part 3. I think these books are by Anonymous. I haven't mentioned that before, but they are by Anonymous. So tune in tomorrow, not tomorrow, because I'm recording these books late. So tune in the next episode to hear Part 4. Do we have time for Part 4? Wait, okay. This episode is supposed to be Tuesdays. Right. So yes, you have at least one more day to do. Unless you want to not do a recording and just explain all the bullshit that's happened with your computer and why you're so late on these recordings. No, I'll do that in the episode itself. Okay, it's fine. Alright, yeah, so, yeah, tune in tomorrow. Although maybe I should do that. I should save my books. Because you gotta run out of books real quick. Nah, ow! Jesus! Just somehow shoved my finger right up my nose. Ugh. Anyway, yeah, so when we come back, we'll read Part 4. But for now, my name is Leo, and I'll see you next time.